Before you get into another relationship, I want you to pause for a minute and ask yourself this one very important question. If this relationship ended tomorrow, will I still be fine financially? Well, if your answer to that question was no, maybe, or I don't know, then I made this video for you and for myself. A lot of women think they have a dating problem, when in all honesty, what they have is a financial confidence problem. You see, when you are not secure on your own, you do not only date differently, you tolerate differently. So in this video, we'll be exploring some ways that you as a young woman can build your financial confidence before you step into your next relationship, so that you don't end up tolerating situations you should be working out of because you are in survivor mode. But you live when things get really messy. And let's dive into this with all our energy and vigor. The first way you build financial confidence as a young woman is setting your own minimum lifestyle standard. Not what the social media expects you to want, not what the society expects you to want, but what you want for yourself. What is the minimum lifestyle you are comfortable living with? The kind of date you would accept, the level of effort you would expect from a partner, the environment you want to exist in. Set all of these standards for yourself. Not the one social media tells you, not the one the society thinks a woman should accept, but what you as an individual, you as a person, you think you deserve for yourself. Because if you do not define the minimum level of comfort you're willing to live in, you adjust to whatsoever is in front of you. When a man who is up there comes, you agree. When a man who is down here comes, exactly, you still agree. You change your mind every now and then because you have not defined the standards you have. A few days ago, I was watching a movie, and this man was set on marrying a particular kind of woman. Of course, he had everything it took to take care of whatsoever kind of woman he wanted. No matter what came before him, once he goes on a date with you, has a conversation with you, and discover that you do not fall within the range of what he is looking for, he politely turns you down. It is okay as a woman to set those standards as well for yourself. What do you expect that a man should be able to give you when you're in a relationship with that man? It doesn't have to be wild, and it doesn't have to be the lowest. I remember reading a post from a young girl. She's in her 20s, and she said she knows that a lot of men in Africa cannot afford the kind of lifestyle she wants to live. She goes ahead to say she's a very materialistic person, and she's not apologizing for it. It is her life. She has a certain level of expectations from any man that is coming into her life. If you cannot meet up with that, then you are free to move on. Well, such a person might come off as materialistic to a lot of people, a lot of men, especially if she is someone who is not even earning for herself, but she's being honest about what she wants in a relationship, what she's expecting her man to be able to do for her. She's not pretending about that, and I found that to be very brave about her. So when you see such a woman and you're approaching her as a man, you already know that this is what she's for, this is what she's for, this is what she's for, and she's not willing to compromise on that. That young girl already knows what she wants. It might end up working out well for her, it might not, but she has set the minimum standard she's willing to accept as far as relationships, love, and all of that is concerned. Standards are not about being difficult. It's about you being clear. If you want a Christian, stick to a Christian. If you want a Muslim, stick to it. That is just an example of a standard. The second thing you should do to build your financial confidence as a young woman is have your own income, have your own money. Be someone who works hard. Be someone who wants to earn her own money. Do not just set the standards in the first point, then you sit and you're expecting a man to come and throw all of that at your feet. When a man comes and sees that, okay, this is actually the standard this girl is at, the things she says she wants, she's actually giving herself these things. He knows that if he's going to act below the belt, it becomes impossible. That is a mistake some of us women we make. We know that this is where we are, and we choose to date men that are down here. Then after a while, we are trying to shrink ourselves to meet them down there because we want to make them feel comfortable. Have your own source of income. This is where everything changes. When you make your own money, you don't feel pressure to stay in a situation, in a relationship that is not working well for you. A lot of women stay in abusive relationships because they have nothing to fall back on if they leave. That relationship, that man is your source of survival. You don't feel impressed by the bare minimum when you can afford certain things for yourself. You don't attach survival to a relationship. Sadly, most of us, we are dating because of survival, because we want to be sure of where our next meal will come from. And suddenly, your choices will improve when you make your own money. That is why a lot of men would say most times on social media that when a woman begins to make her own money, she starts feeling like she no longer needs a man. But that is not true. That is not true. It is simply because you now begin to tell yourself there are certain things I can no longer tolerate from a man who thinks he can give me money, then treats me like crap. Because at that time, what you need from that man is not just money, as other girls who are financially dependent would. You need more of his character, you need more of his presence, his availability, you need his love, his care, his respect. And because most men have but just money to offer a woman, they begin to feel like once women are now wealthy, they now make money for themselves, they no longer need men. That is not true. Your choices improve, not because men change, but because your position did, your financial positioning did. Because you cannot have money, then you eat from the gutters, except you choose to eat from the gutters because of whatsoever reason. The third thing that you need to do to build your financial confidence is detach from desperation. Desperation is subtle. When you're desperate and someone tells you you're desperate, you most times will not agree with them that you're desperate about this thing. But you are desperate. That's why you keep making statements like, what if I don't find someone else? You stay in a bad situation and you just want to agree for this man that has come to you. What if I don't find someone else? Let me just manage this situation. I don't want to start all over again. So you stay in situations that are shrinking you, that are draining energy, life out of you, because you do not want to start over again. No, my dear, you're not starting all over again. You're starting from experience, you're starting from resilience, and you're starting from focus. And you would do better rather than stay in a place where even the bare minimum effort you do not get. Desperation makes you negotiate against yourself. From I want a godly man to, well, so long as he's a man and he takes care of me, I really don't care. From I need my man to be financially stable to, well, even if he does not have money, I work so we can do things, we can rely on my own money and all of that. Financial confidence removes you from that desperate negotiation against yourself. Because when you know you will be okay with or without a man who has money, you stop choosing out of fear and you start choosing from a place of assurance. You start choosing from a place of want, not desperate need. Have your own money. Detach from desperation. Do not be desperate. Because if out of that desperation you fall into the hands of a man who doesn't know how to take care of a woman, he would use you and he will treat you terribly. And the next thing is learn to enjoy your own stability. There is a phase people don't talk about where your life is calm. Your life is just calm. It is peaceful. No chaos, no emotional roller coasters, just stability. And it can feel boring at first. So you're like, my life is boring. I should get into something with someone, and you end up falling into the hands of the wrong person. If you can enjoy your own life, you won't rush into someone else's life. I have been single for 2 years. Maybe I should just get into a relationship and begin to experience what it feels like being loved, blah, 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 blah. And the first man that blinks at you, that as much as sends you a DM, you jump into their arms. No. Learn how to enjoy your own life. Things might not always be going on right, but it is better to have a peaceful, calm, stable life than to get into a chaotic, dramatic relationship that drains your energy, time, and money. And the fifth is date from a position of choice, not need. And this should be the goal of you getting into a relationship. Date because you feel it is the right time, like you want to, not because you're in need of who would buy you your next meal, not because you are in need of someone to fill your gas cylinder, not because you need someone to constantly take care of your needs and do you favors. You're not dating because you need help. You are not dating because you lack something. You're dating because you want to. Because you feel it is that time. You're grown enough, you're matured enough, you've built enough relationship skills to actually handle a full relationship. And this alone changes the kind of man you go for, or what you'll be willing to accept in a relationship. It changes what you ignore. When things are not going out right, you feel confident enough to call out your partner on your wrongdoing and you talk with them. But if this person is your meal ticket, you have to stay quiet, because you will say one thing and they refuse to give you money to buy shoe, they refuse to give you money to buy wig, and because you're depending totally on them and you need that wig, your mouth has to be sealed. But if you have your own money, you know that, well, you can afford a wig for yourself, you can afford shoes, you can afford to take yourself to a date, you can afford to do things for yourself. So you no longer choose the things or ignore the things you should be speaking out against, and you can easily walk away because you have something to fall back on. I recently met a woman. She's been in her marriage for 15 years, and throughout that her time in that marriage, she told me she has been enduring. It's been from one pain to another, dealing with a cheating husband, an abusive man, and all of that. So she's been struggling building until finally she was able to set up a business for herself and build that business into a large-scale business that can take care of her and her children without her having to fall back or take some of the things she used to take from her husband. And when she was now that stable, she decided to leave the marriage, and people began to call her names, they began to call her words, telling her all sorts of things. But no one truly understands why she had knowing anything for that long. But she says she is where she finds peace, she's comfortable, and she's okay. And that is what you, having your own money as a lady, can save you from. All of these things fall back on you not being lazy, on you not being nonchalant, but being hardworking and trying to build a life for yourself as well, trying to have your own source of income. I always say this: the reason I advise that every woman becomes hardworking and have their own money is not so that you can compete with men. No, it is out of responsibility, so you can take responsibility for your own self, you can take responsibility for your family, you can take responsibility for situations, you can walk away from a bad place when you need to. It is not for you to be in competition with men and all of that. Who even cares about that? Have your own money as an act of responsibility towards self and the society. And if you want more real conversations about money, dating, and power as a woman, do not forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. I remain your girl, Senorita Dufah Thoughts, and here we talk about dating, money in dating, money in relationships, money in marriage, and money as an asset in the hands of a woman. Remember, money is a tool that you can use to maneuver certain situations in your life as a woman. Have your own money, not out of competition, but out of responsibility. It helps a great deal. Subscribe, like this video, share with a friend, and let us build a community together.